was a man they used to know in the county, the kind of town builds itself around without saying so out loud. He had a name people borrowed when they wanted to mean something solid. Had ground he worked with hands that knew the ground. Had a wife that called him home. Had a boy that called him daddy. Had a chair at the table where the older men sat. He had everything a man is supposed to want. And then he didn't. Lost the ground first to a paper, signed in a room he wasn't in. Lost the woman second to a tiredness he never saw her carrying. Lost the boy the way you lose a boy when his mama don't come back. Lost his name last, which is the one that hurts the longest, because a man's name is the only thing he leaves the room with when everything else is already gone. He sat in the dark of a house that wasn't a home anymore, in the ash of a fire he didn't remember lighting. He was not weeping, he was not praying, he was not asking why. He was past why. A man past why is either done or he's dangerous. A man past why has nothing left to lose. And a man with nothing left to lose is the kind of man the old folks used to warn about when the wind picked up and the dogs got quiet. A man past why. A man past why. He walked out of that house on a Tuesday morning and didn't lock the door behind him. Walked the road he used to drive, all the way back to the start, to the place where everything had been before everything ended. He didn't have a plan, didn't have a prayer, didn't have a reason anyone watching would have called good. He just had one thing left that they couldn't take, that they didn't even know to look for. Some men lose and crawl, some men lose and run, some men lose and disappear into the bottle or the gun. But every once in a while a man loses and stands up, and the wind picks up and the dogs go quiet, and the ones who took from him start to remember what kind of country this used to be. A man past why is either done or he's dangerous. A man past why has nothing left to lose. And a man with nothing left to lose is the kind of man the old folks used to warn about when the wind picked up and the dogs got quiet. A man past why. A man past why. There's a kind of man the old stories know about. He doesn't show up in the easy seasons. He shows up when the harvest fails, when the well runs dry, when the people who said they'd stay have already gone. He doesn't look like much standing there in the ash. He doesn't announce himself. He just starts doing the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next. And the thing he carried back from the fire, the thing they didn't know to take, starts to grow, slow at first, then faster than everywhere. And the man who burned him starts to lock the doors at night. And the woman who left him hears his name in town again, spoken differently than the way she remembered it. And the boy who didn't come back is old enough now to come find him. And the man who lost everything is standing in the same town with the same name. And the fire